All right, welcome to the Unnamed Cybersecurity Podcast. As you will see, we're missing a member today.
As usual.
I mean, that's what happens when he tries to fly a kite when there's like 100-mile-an-hour winds. We actually don't know where he is. Last we checked, SpaceX and Blue Origin were both looking for him.
Oh no.
So Matt unfortunately can't be here today. Partially due to that, but more because of power issues and things like that tied to storms. So he's good. Everything's good. Just got some things to take care of. So
he's out in the Jeep somewhere, you know.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably just an excuse. Probably lied to us. But we got some interesting stuff. So this week, Bob brought to my attention an interesting article. And everybody loves AI. It's AI this, AI that, right? So if you put AI in the name of your application or your startup or whatever like that, you can raise crazy valuations, like crazy money, right? So, Bob, let's just talk about what you found.
Sure. Well, we found a couple of them actually. One of them, but they both have a common theme. We've got people that are creating AI apps, and the actually AI that was behind it was all protein-based robots. There were people in the Philippines acting as the AI.
So specifically for this, he's talking about an app that was called Nate, and it was an AI shopping app that promised a universal checkout experience. And it was like single click, right? You could buy from any e-commerce site, single click.
Supposedly it was multiple commerce sites, and this guy raised looks like over $50 million from investors, and actually it looks like it might be closer to 88 million because it looks like the second round.
Yeah. In 2018, he raised 50 million. In 2021, he raised another 38.
It's after he got all his call centers set up, I guess, after people were in there. But this guy got pinched by looks like the Department of Justice is involved here and going after him.
Yep. Yeah. Well, defrauding investors is kind of frowned upon by the DOJ.
Yeah, I wonder what his annual reports actually look like for
That's
research
true.
and development.
What I want to know is how many workers did he have doing this? And remember, we said this was 2018, so this is pre-ChatGPT really being a thing. So this wasn't generative AI that we know today. This is before that. But he ran out of money apparently in 2023 and was forced to sell his assets, and then there's a total near loss. But how many people do you have working? Think about that. I don't know how big the app got, but it must have been a crazy amount of people.
Well, Filipino workers are cheaper compared to here, and he built out those call centers. But if he's got 24/7 live people listening to or watching to actually generate responses, that's pretty quick. But can you imagine being an AI and actually having to see individual keystrokes coming back, or somebody backspacing and putting the correct answer in for them?
That'd be kind of
But that's not the only one we've seen. There was another one. There was there was an AI drive-through software that was being used by fast food places to
Del Taco, Checkers. Yeah. And that thing turned out the same way. Oh, Presto Automation. They were under investigation for certain aspects of its AI technology.
Meaning, how many
it wasn't AI.
Staff going.
Yeah. Bloomberg reported testing the technology at a Del Taco, and they reduced the kitchen's team's handling of orders by about 70%. So even though they were mostly just Filipino workers, apparently it was more effective than doing the orders internally.
Oh yeah, I guess they had the call center set up. The workers had their headphones on, and all they did was listen for those orders.
Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do.
It solved the problem, but it wasn't AI, so it comes down to counter that fraud.
So what we're trying to say is if you see an investment that says AI, please do your due diligence, and even if you do, somebody can still trick you.
So. Someone called this artificial intelligence.
Oh, that's good. So
Anyway, what's going on with the bad guys this week?
well, let's kind of this is kind of interesting twist. So the FBI released their internet crimes report for effectively what would be 2024, right? They combined all the stuff that all the internet crimes that were reported to them. So it'd be like ransomware, business email compromise, tech support fraud, pig butchering, which I don't think they want to call that anymore, but that's where you socially engineer somebody to think that maybe like you're their girlfriend or boyfriend, you try to get them to send money, stuff like that. Investment schemes use that too. But anyway, the total reported losses of the FBI last year was about $16.6 billion. Now remember, that's reported losses. That's not overall losses. This is reported losses to the FBI, which was up 33% year over year. So if the reported losses, and we know most people don't call the FBI, are up 33%, what does that mean globally? I'm sure we'll get an answer to that shortly. But guess what the top loss category was?
Business email compromise.
Nope. Investment fraud. Straight up. They targeted employees, executives, mostly social engineering, but some of it was involved cryptocurrency scams and stuff like that. But yeah, 6.57 billion of that 16.6 billion that was reported was just investment fraud. Now, next was business email compromise at $2.77 billion. So for everybody, yeah, you're well. It was number 3, but it was like halfway down, or number 2, half of the amount. So that's just direct financial loss when they target somebody inside the company and they get them to do something, click a link, whatever, get access to their account, they take it over. That's not even counting the indirect loss. That's just what they directly contribute. Sure. And again, this is stuff reported to the FBI. Tech support fraud was number 3 at 1.46 billion. So, people calling up and saying, "Hey, I'm your tech support, whatever." Or you go to a website, it says call tech support, things like that. Ransomware was up 9%, but they don't give a number. So they just said the complaints were up 9%. They had more than 4,800 complaints just for critical infrastructure in the United States last year.
That's a scary one.
So ransomware and data breach were the top 2 as part of that. And they said, oh, here you go. FBI analysis suggests that only 20% of victims report that to law enforcement. Let's do the math on this. So just
jump that one up by 80%, and
so we'll do 16.6 billion. This should be fun. I turn my calculator.
Well, if you go to like the Dragon Force blog on the dark web and look at whose data has been released. There's probably a whole list of people there that didn't report it to the FBI.
So if you take the FBI for what it's worth, they're probably talking someplace between $80 and $100 billion of true loss, just the United States, and that's a guess of where they're going for. But inside the report, it's always interesting to read these reports because they do give you some highlights on what they recommend for companies to do. Obviously, report incidents when they happen because it does help. A lot of states, you can go to the state police and report it first, and they'll get the FBI involved. So that's an interesting one to do. BEC is still a thing. Ransomware obviously is still a problem. Promoting scam awareness. A lot of this just goes back to, hey, let's educate our employees, let's educate our business, and make sure that we're handling things correctly. Yeah, it was an interesting report to kind of dive in. I just want to give you guys a overview of that. But after that, I mean, Ransom Hub looks like they've merged with. We've talked about Ransom Hub before. With
sure,
they do ransomware as a service. Looks like they've merged with somebody else.
Industry, they grow it up and they merge and.
Well, they had internal conflict, right? Like some of their chats got released, and all of a sudden they've been radio silent. It looks like sometime their data leak site went offline in March 31st. So it looks like maybe they merged with. There's a couple of different ransomware operators that they say that they merged with. I know Dragon Force, which you've just come across, is one of the up and coming ones, one that's out there more and more. So
and their blog is down right now for some reason.
It's dark web. It always goes down.
No, it's actually got a pop-up on it that says we'll be back soon, and it's actually from Dragon Force. So maybe they got hacked.
Customer service is important, people. Let's just say that. Yeah, so AI, all this stuff. There's other news. I don't know. Did you see that? If you should patch all your Apple stuff because apparently AirPlay can be hacked.
I hadn't seen that one yet.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So if you use Apple out there, if you use AirPlay, if you have Apple TVs inside your business, probably something to think about. But something with the SDK, so the software development kit, like anything that supports it could be smart TVs, speakers. I guess it's not really Apple devices because a lot of things support AirPlay now. It was remote code execution over shared Wi-Fi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So for everybody out there, if they were able to get access on the same Wi-Fi, yeah, it can be a very bad day. So
if you even know it.
Yep. And then there's a British retailer, Marks and Spencer. They've been out most of last week. It looks like remember Scattered Spider that got into MGM and Caesars. They were like the ones that socially engineer, and then they turned over. I think they turned over to Black Hat back to their LFV. They got these guys, and they stole their entire Active Directory database, and then they deployed Dragon Force ransomware.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and they encrypted all of their VM warehouse. So I don't know if they're back up and running yet. I haven't really paid attention to that, but yeah. So be careful.
Stay safe, and
hopefully Matt's back next week because
hoping Matt's next week. So if anyone's still here, when was the last time you had a third party validate that what your IT company is doing for you actually works?
What are you saying? I mean, it's not like when we call people to offer our services, they just say they're fine.
Well, we've been quietly offering some validation services to a few people, and we're finding a lot of holes in things. So that's a topic for another discussion.
No, I mean, it's a good discussion to have. We would love if you have a story of being the victim of an attack, if you could reach out to us silently, you could DM any of us, either of us, and we can have a conversation. We'll do it completely off the record. We just want to tell stories too and help. I may have one coming up here. I recently met somebody that was hit with ransomware that isn't a customer, which is good. You know why customers getting that either, but yeah, it's a pretty sad story. So I'm trying to see if I can get a what?
Not a customer yet.
Yeah, not a customer yet. But like I'm trying to see if they'll tell their story. Because it's a good story. It's a good story to hear because it's a small business and they employ people in the community, and it's kind of one of those things where it's just like that's what we're trying to protect against, because our communities are so important, and it's hard enough out there with tariffs and people getting a little sketchy and stuff like that. The worst thing in the world you want right now is a cyber attack in your business that makes it even worse. So you guys stay cyber safe. Oh, sorry.
No, sounds good. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, you guys stay cyber safe. And any questions, let us know, and we'll see you again next week.